Very warm good morning to one and all present here. I welcome all the participants for the session PC troubleshooting and hardware maintenance. I thank our CEO Shri Sai Prakash Leomuthu sir for arranging this wonderful session. I also owe a sincere thanks to our beloved principal Dr. K. Panikumar sir and Dr. B. Sridevi ma'am, HOD Department of CSC, and the staff members of Entrepreneurship Development Cell for organizing this event. I also thank our coordinators Rajalakshmi ma'am, Trinavakar sir and Dr. Shanmuga Sundar sir for coordinating this event. Once again, I welcome all the participants for the session. We have eminent speakers from various organizations who are here to share their views and ideas regarding the topic. So, without any further delay, let's welcome Dr. G. Merlin Linda, who is working as an assistant professor in SRM Institute of Science and Technology, Vadapalani campus. She is pursuing her PhD from Anna University and she has completed her ME in Computer Science Engineering from Jerusalem College of Engineering. And she has published four international papers and she has also participated in three conferences. She has completed online certifications like Python for data science and programming data structures and algorithms using Python. And she is well versed in operating systems like Linux, Fedora 16, and some tools like MATLAB, Anaconda, and etc. So let's welcome our session speaker. We welcome you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, for the introduction. We'll move on with to the current session, today's session. So the topic today, which we are going to discuss today, is troubleshooting. The past three sessions, we have started with computer basics, like overview of the computer, and we have seen BIOS and CMOS. And yesterday also, I have explained you about the utility BIOS utility setup. For example, if your system is encountering some troubleshooting problem in booting, how can you open the BIOS if your system is turned on or before your system is turned on? We have seen different procedure for opening the BIOS utility setup, right? And today I'll be speaking about troubleshooting. First, I'll explain some overview about the troubleshooting. I hope you have learned enough about the troubleshooting. So, related with the BIOS and basic troubleshooting memory errors, first I like to explain something about a troubleshooting and its concept. What is troubleshooting? What are the type of troubleshooting options available? Then I'll explain some of the I'll take some of the problems, then I'll explain the solution for it, right? We'll move on with the session today. So this is my agenda today. So we are going to see about the troubleshooting, and then I'll explain some of the problems, how we can able to solve the problems with some solutions, right? Let me share my PPT. Okay, so I'll see about what is troubleshooting and what are the major steps in troubleshooting, the general idea about troubleshooting and its overview. Then I'll move on with some of the problems. So, what is troubleshooting? Troubleshooters help to solve a problem or determining a problem to an issue. So, if you encounter some problem or issue, we have to solve it, and we need a solution for that problem, right? Troubleshooting often involves the process of elimination, where a technicians follow a set of steps to determine the problem or resolve the problems. Here, troubleshooting often involves the process of elimination, right? So, which means that if you might encounter some errors, like if your system is not starting, not working, some blank lines or some blue color lines you are getting, striped lines you are getting. So, in these cases, either if you have know some general procedure, it will be very easy to follow that procedure among yourself. You don't want to depend on your friends or technicians to come and work with your system. So you keep on moving with you may identify your problem, you can move on with your problems for a typical solution, so that could resolve the troubleshooting problem. So we'll see some basic steps in troubleshooting. What are the general basic steps which you you might encounter in troubleshooting are: write down your steps, take notes about the error message, and always check the cable, restart the computer. So these are the some general basic steps when you encounter with your troubleshooting. With troubleshooting is nothing but some error message. So when you are using your system, there are a lot of troubleshooting might be there. Either it can related with your memory aspects, like booting, like OS, or it can related with your RAM memory or software memory, which means that a software problem, hardware problem, or it can related with your internet, right? While you are opening, working with your internet, you will be getting some troubleshooting problems. The internet will not connect when you are internet with connected with Wi-Fi. You will not able to connect a Wi-Fi. Ethernet port will not work, or your error sorry, your internet keep on disconnecting for 5 minutes. You have to connect multiple times to work on with your internet. So these are some of the errors internet. I'll be taking about the session tomorrow, which I'll be focusing on the internet problems. What are the troubleshooting problems associated with the internet? I'll be focusing on tomorrow's session. Today we'll see about these basic about the troubleshooting, right? So in hardware and software oriented errors in troubleshooting, we are going to discuss in today's session. I'll be having one more session afternoon. We'll be discussing that more about your hardware. I'll be taking about your problems in the hardware software errors, and they'll be giving some solutions. So write down your steps. What do you mean by write down your basic steps in troubleshooting? So once you start troubleshooting, you may want to write down each step you take, right? This will you'll be able to remember exactly what you have done and can avoid repeating the same mistakes. If you end up asking other people for help, it will be much easier if they know exactly what you have tried already, right? So that will be very basic way to do your to analyze your problem and solving the solution. And take down notes about error message. So if your computer gives you an error message, be sure to write down as much information as possible, that you may able to use this information later to find out if other people are having the same error. So that is one of the error message. Always it's look like good, right? When we encounter some problem, either you should take down the screenshot. When you're suppose you may not able to recover that recover what the troubleshooting says that, but if you saved what that error message is, you can able to get help from your friend or technician. That might solve your problem, unless if you don't know what happened there. You want to know, you want to explain to your someone that, so this is how to acquire to my system, this is what it's happening. So if you are showing that that scenario or a problem which you have got in the troubleshooting that system faced, so it will be easy for someone to solve the problem, right? So that is take notes about error message, but people will not do that. Taking, if you get one error message, definitely most of you will not have that habit of noting down what that error message says. But it's one of the very good habit. When you next time you'll encounter or the same scenario occur to your friend, you can able to solve that, right? So it's a good way of doing it. Always check the cable. So if you're having trouble with a specific piece of computer hardware, such as your monitor or keyboard, an easy first step is to check all related cables to make sure they are properly connected. So you have to check that whether but mostly we will all do that. If you have a problem, definitely we'll check that whether battery, do you have a proper backup power is there, or power supply is perfectly there, any other keyboard is working, mouse is working. We'll do all these sort of things. People will do that. So this is one of the common way to do the to find the solution for the troubleshooting. Restart the computer. So when all else fails, restart the computers. So it's a good thing to try. This can solve a lot of basic issues which you may experience with your computer, right? So that is sometimes you look like that your computer is fine, suddenly when you're doing some work, it will shut down. So it will restart 1 second, so continuous restart. So this is one of the problem you will be facing often. Many people will be facing that. So we'll see that why that restart will happen often in later of this session. And coming to the conclusion, some basic step which we will do often, everyone will do often, even a layman who doesn't know good about the computer, they will do follow these steps, right? So this is about one of the what is troubleshooting, some basic steps everyone should follow. Now, more about the troubleshooting, we'll go on in depth about what is troubleshooting and how we can able to solve this. So troubleshooting is also the process of tracing and correcting faults in a mechanical or electronic system, right? Which means that we'll able to find out. One word I can say about troubleshooting is nothing but some method or not a function. It's something about a error which you are getting in the system. So the error, the faults which you are obtaining in the system, the PC, how you are going to correct it, how you are going to overcome the problem, and how you are going to provide the solution which will clear your problem and keep on working in a good condition. How we are going to do that? That is going we are seeing in the troubleshooting. So the troubleshooting in a computer is an intelligent and sophisticated process. Successful troubleshooting depend on the following four factors. We are going to deal about these. It's a so in this any computer it will solve, because you might have seen that in a system we'll be getting if you're having a problem in network and connectivity, there will be getting right click when you will have lot of option, they will be getting finally troubleshooting. So if you even you can see here, I'll show you. You see here, if I click this, if I'm not I'll be getting here, right, a network and an internet setting. So if I click, if my network is not working, sometimes if it is not working, this will not be connected, right? So I can able to here I'll be getting troubleshooting option. So I'll be there somewhere. So I can see troubleshooting network connection here. So help from the web, which means that this will analyze the problem and will find out the solution what to do. So which means that it will get the solution, what is the problem I put. Maximum cases it will identify, you try to do this thing. So it will suggest one solution which may clear that problem which we got, which we are looking for. So here we can see that. Similarly, we'll be having a lot of troubleshooting options in so many places, which will lead to a proper solution for clearing that problem, right? So that is one case. You can see here troubleshooting network connection issue. So coming to that next one, okay, so what are the troubleshooting depends on the following four factors. What are the four factors? Problem solving approach, techniques adapted in troubleshooting, tools and text equipment used, diagnostic aids in PC. So we are going to look into more about this, how the problem solving approach will depend on the troubleshooting, how techniques adapted in troubleshooting, what are the tools and test equipments are used in order to solve the troubleshooting, and what are the environmental options that can help in clearing the troubleshooting problems with respect to the PCs. So that are the things which we are going to cover. So coming to the first problem solving approach, what is computer fault? So fault in computer system affect the normal operation of the computer, as of course, right? Any computer fault that will definitely affect your system. So if you are that will also delay your work, actually, I would like to say. So that is a computer malfunction will do. So the symptoms of the malfunction are almost unlimited and vary with the nature of the faults, right? So the types of symptoms we often come across are listed below. We'll see what are the types of general fault which your computer will face in day-to-day life. A program has given wrong result. A program is looping continuously. CPU has lost control. There is a junk display on the CRT monitor, that is your PC, your monitor screen. Hard disk drive is not working. Yeah, definitely, even I faced that issue so much time. Yeah, my hard disk will not open. When I want to read some CD drives, it will not open. So I need to depend on some other hard disk, which means definitely everyone used to follow pen drive. That is very quite handy nowadays. We used to keep your pen drive rather than CDs. But if you have some old files, like 5 years to 6 to 7 years back, old files, you have everything in CD. If you like to recall what is present in the CD, if you try to read the information, sometimes you'll feel that the hard drive is not at all opening when we press the hard drive button. So how we are going to solve these problems? So opening more than one window causes the system software hang. Of course, I faced a lot of trouble. When you used more than 10 tabs in a system, in a Chrome or Mozilla Firefox, you can see that the system's performance is slowing down. So that is one of the computer fault you'll face. But that problem is associated with the RAM. If your RAM is you can able to see that if your system RAM is 4 GB, then your system performance will be limited. So if you are opening more tabs or 10 to 14 tabs at a stretch at a single Chrome, then we can see that the performance is slowing down. But I will not say that for all the systems. It depending upon the system and the type of processor you're using and what type of processor and what type of model that is. It all depend on that also, hardware function also. But some most of the cases it will be related to the RAM which you are using, right? So and also there is one more people used to say that usually your desktop should be clean, right? Your desktop should be clean. Even my desktop, you can see that it's full of files is there, but you should clear your desktop. That will be very good, because we cannot able to save all your files in the desktop, so that will slow down your performance. Even I was even I personally gone through this problem. I used to save all my files to the desktop initially when I used to started working in my desktop, which means laptop. Then I can see that it's slowing down the performance, because usually the desktop files will be saved in C drive. You know that C drive is responsible for showing, reading or storing all the current application information, unless your own personal files like data or information. So if you have your software or back OS related applications, so that applications files will be the backup files will be temporary files, all will be stored in the C drive. Preferably, I'm not saying that default it will be a C drive. If you are while you're creating the booting your operating system, which means while you're doing operating system, if you're giving that path to be some other location, then applications will be default application will be backed up in some other drive. But preferably we'll take that to be a C drive. So you think that even the application backup files, temporary files, all will be created in a C drive. Now even your own files, if you are creating in a C drive, how that so the processing will be difficult while that virtual memory, cache memory doing its work, right? So that's why we will say that we should not save your personal files or data in a C drive. That will make your system slow down your performance. So that is one thing we should not do. Computer intermittently cancel job with any one of the following messages, like program gives different result at runtime, or it can divide file not found error, or memory parity error, which means that memory bound error, which means that your memory is out of bound, which means that memory is full, try to save in some other location. Or one more common error, what will happen means, I'll tell you this. So for example, if you have your files, right, if you have your files with lengthy names, for example, I am writing a quite large name, very large name here. When I want to copy that file to the some other location or pen drive or hard disk, I'll be getting a error saying that this file name is too lengthy. So what I am saying is, if my file name is, let me name it with some, one second, I'll show you. So if I am going to name with some lengthy names, right? If your files are too lengthy, like this, right? If you are having a too lengthy file names, right? I have not done anything, just I have renamed this file, that is this workshop browser with some lengthy names. If I want to copy that file, this problem will not exist often. Sometimes you may encounter this problem. Suppose if I want to copy this folder to some other hard disk or drive, that file alone will not be copied. You'll be getting a message, that troubleshooting message, that length of the file is too large, right? So what is that meaning? Which means that actually when I encounter the error first when I'm doing this, even I don't know what happened. All the files are copying, I'll be getting the 2 files not copied, 3 files not copied among inside the file. So If you have a lot of subfolders, if you have lot of image files, people used to save a lot of photos, right? Family photos, your friends photos, so and so. So you'll be getting some message, you don't know where that, which kind of images are not copied. So make sure that from this session, if you encounter some images with a long lengthy name of the file, don't give a lengthy name field, make it short. It should be some length which will be good to, because you can ask me that, ma'am, why it is happening, why that error, that file, lengthy file is not copied, which means, why means the memory, it will not read such a lot of the copying. So when the program will copy this file, it will take a backup in the temporary file. I hope you know that what is cache memory, temporary, that virtual memory sort of things. So it will have a temporary files in some other location. So if I copy and paste it in some other hard disk, it will says that sometimes it will be copied, sometimes it will, the memory the backup memory, it will not read such lengthy string. It need a lot of that memory address, sorry, memory address to allocate for that perfect, that particular file which you are copying. It will take too lengthy, so sometimes that it will show the out of bound expression errors also. So so make sure that when you are copying some files from the next time, you rename that file as short, so that it will be easy while you are doing a copy operations, right? So that is one of the error I often face, that is, a program gives different result at different runs. So that is one case. That is, one time it may look like correct, sometimes, I'm not saying that all the time the lengthy files will not be copied, but rare cases you may encounter such type of error, right? So that is about your computer fault. So nature of fault, what is this nature of fault? The nature of fault can be two types, either it can be based on permanent or solid fault, or it is based on intermittent fault. What is permanent fault and what is intermittent fault? So the computer fault can be broadly classified into two types based on the frequency of occurrence of the program. So it can be when there is a permanent fault, when, for example, when there is a permanent fault in a computer, the computer misbehaves consistently, which means that we will not have the sequence of operation in a correct order. Any number of times the program is run, the result or symptoms will be the same. So the time, so even though there will be a misbehaves consistently, whatever which you are doing the operation, you will get the results and symptoms every time, it will be same. What is intermittent fault means? The computer behavior is not consistent. So even though result, there will be a misbehavior, which means troubleshooting some problem. Sometimes it will properly and suddenly it will malfunction. Another certain period of time, it recovers from the fault. Automatically, it will start functioning properly, and again it will start. Will get a problem. So that even the same error, you will have a same error, but one time your system will work properly, and the another time it will have some problem, will not work properly. That problem will cause a severe damage to your system. So this is about the nature of fault. One is permanent or solid fault, which means that it will, every time it will, the error will misbehave correctly. If which means that if the error is there, the error will cause the system troubleshoot option failure at all the cases, or it will work all the cases. Intermittent fault means sometimes it will work correctly, sometimes it will not work correctly. So that kind of problems are called a intermittent fault. So the nature of faults are two types: permanent or solid fault, or it can be a intermittent fault. So types of fault. So what is the types of faults? What are the types of faults are there in our system? General types which everyone knows: hardware and software faults. What is a hardware fault? So the hardware which work now may fail even in the next seconds, right? So we have already seen in the yesterday and the day before yesterday session a lot more about the hardware, that is BIOS. So we have seen that how BIOS utility setup will be, we can able to log into the BIOS utility step of what are the procedure I've discussed very clearly step by step yesterday. I've shown you all the screenshots. We can, if you want, I can share my slides. You can look into it later. And I have told you that we'll have a problems there. If there is, I'll tell you how to go into that procedure one, or if you suppose if you logged into there computer, we can able to see the BIOS configuration in that way also. So I told you all these things. So the program is not, hence if there is a software fault in the computer, it is because one of the following two reasons. The program is not proven. It is a new program which is not yet debugged thoroughly. So the program work only for certain types of data. This is due to the incomplete testing of the software, right? So sometimes the program is not proven, which means that it is in trial and basis error. It is new program which is not debugged thoroughly. In that case, there will be hardware failure. The program works only for certain types of data. So some application will failure, right? So the if you install some application, the application needs some backend to be there. For example, .NET framework must be there if you want to install some Adobe players, some Adobe Photoshop, that and all. You need some .NET framework must be there. So that .NET framework is not there, we cannot able to work on with it. Some, if you are installing .NET Studio, the .NET framework, some framework version should be installed. That framework version is not there, the current application will not work. So one application will depend on some other application. So that is one of the the program which I'm talking about, application. So this is due to the incomplete testing of the software. This is one problem. The software errors may appear to the hardware error. Some software error may lead to a hardware error. A hardware error may lead to a software error. So one must clearly understand that a working software can never malfunction, right? So if a software has started working correctly, that can never malfunction unless there is a hardware error, right? There is one more error that is not mentioned here. Software error, if it is corrupted with the malware, that is virus, that will lead to a software to be corrupted. That is there. That is not related with the working of the software. That is purely different. If you are use, because nowadays we are using, everyone knows that we are using Wi-Fi internet or directly modem used to connect internet. So that you can see sometimes we will allow cookies. Some site we need to allow cookies, which means that we storing the cached information. Then only we can able to access the information. In such cases and all, we don't know that site is genuine or not. We like to access the information present in the site, we will give allow information. Sometimes that cookie can lead to a virus also, that will corrupt your software or in browser or any other types, and it will malfunction any problems in your system. So that is one type. So now some important functionality of hardware problems. So a hardware which works now may fail even in the next second, but a software one proven always works. But it says that always works, but I can say that the software will not always work. Definitely the software also corrupted. Even we can able to say that what application I can take. Yes, even you can say the Chrome. You can able to see in Chrome there will be message called app stop message. So sometimes Chrome will be automatically closed. If I hope everyone is attending online classes, you will be having different software platforms to attend your online classes. This Google Meet or Zoom or any other own personalized third-party vendors application for writing exams, online exams, or listening classes, so and so, right? So you may come across when you're listening online classes, you will be saying that, ma'am, I logged in, my Chrome is not working, it stopped automatically, I had a problem. You will say, you'll be speaking about this. So I can say that that is also one of the software problem that is not related to the hardware problem, right? Hence, if there is a software fault in a computer, it is because of one of the following two reasons. The program is not proven. It is a program which is yet to be debugged, so on. So software errors may appear to be hardware error. One must clearly understand that the working software can never, I told you in the previous slide, right? It's repeated here. Okay, hardware problems are of many types. So what are the types of hardware problem? It can do a hardware problem may lead to electronic problem, mechanical problem, environment problem, media problem. Each of these can cause both solid and intermittent problem. I hope we have seen the type of faults, right? There are two types of faults. Two types of natures are there. The fault will happen. Either it can be a permanent, or it will be one time it will be correct, another time it will be not correct. That is intermittent problem. So this may cause a similar problem. That is we can able to easy to identify the cause of solid problem. Why solid problems are easy to identify? Because they will be the problems are consistent. So it will be whatever the, so for example, if you're working with the system, you'll be getting suddenly the Chrome is restarting. So when next time when you restart your system also, the same, the Chrome will be behaving like that only. So that problem is called a solid problem, which means every time the problem will be a problem, it will be behave such in a consistent manner. So we can able to easily track the problem and we can resolve it. But intermittent problem, it can be a mechanical problem that may give symptoms that may mislead the engineer to conclude it is an electronic problem. See here, because we don't know what kind of problem that it is indicating to us, because when we are working with one time the problem, if we are clearing with some sort of refresh or opening and closing again, the problem is cleared at a time. But when I restart again, that problem may come. So suddenly when I next time, the problem will not appear, right? So next time the problem will occur again, but we cannot able to identify it is leading to the mechanical hardware or the software is corrupted. So that will quite uncomfortable to find out what kind of problem the troubleshooting is leading us. So symptoms caused by the media problems make one thing that they are either hardware or software problems. Hence, an intermittent problem need a very careful and systematic approach to deal with, right? So intermittent problem, we have to analyze. That's why here comes that we have to first clearly observe it and analyze the troubleshooting error, what it says, that what is leading, what it is leading. That is, either the problem is occurring in the software hardware part, or we are getting some hardware error. We have to understand it very clearly. Then we have to start solving the problem. That will help us to save time, and we can easily identify the error. So that is one of the. Otherwise, if you are thinking that there is a problem is leading to hardware, then you will taking your system, because hardware problems are quite difficult to identify. If you can able to identify the BIOS utility setup, you can reset your BIOS, which means you can reset your OS. I have shown you yesterday the steps, right? That you don't want to consult your problem with some technicians, what happened, or don't want to spend some amount for that. No, everything will be look fine. But if you are if you are mistaking it as a wrong, then you have to take that your system or PC to a lab technician. They will be saying that your motherboard gone, your PC gone, your driver gone, everything gone, you have to change it. Then we have to spend a lot of money. So it's better that you can able to solve your own troubleshooting problem. Unless you cannot able to solve it, just able to realize that what is happening. So you'll be strong, this is what happened. Even though you cannot able to resolve it, you can be confident, this is what happened. You can tell the problem to the technician. So they know that what you are what you know. So they will not put more money, or they will not do something to your computer, right? Okay, that is a bit harder. So the diagnostic programs and tools. So how we can able to do the solution, or how we can able to come out from it, means diagnostic program and tools. A computer manufacturer supplies special diagnostic programs. These programs contain test routines to verify various functions of the computer hardware. Like running this program help one decide whether the hardware is faulty or not. In order to verify the presence of intermittent problem, it is necessary to done the diagnostic. I told you, right? A troubleshooting option, diagnostic setup. So there will be in system, there will be setups are there. We can able to do the setup, which will tell you that what problem is resulting. We'll be getting a suggestion from the OS. This is what it happened. You try this and check. So that diagnostic programs and tools, which means that tools are suggesting us what to do. These test programs very often help us to confirm whether a problem in a computer is related to hardware or software. So we'll get it from maximum cases, 99% cases we can able to tell. So if diagnostic programs run successfully without pointing out any problem, then the chance of hardware fault is removed. So there is some exception. Intermediate problem may play a hide and seek games, which means it will that's why it will work one time, it will not work. I mean, that is quite tedious process to find out. So we have to, if some cases, if you are analyzing that some booting problem must occur, you know how, actually I told you the procedure, right? You know how to find out the BIOS utility step, that is booting options. How to go and find the booting option. Go to the booting option. There will be a default load setting, which means that the operating system will load all the default setting, so that you can try that one. Maximum cases that will clear your hardware fault within one go, right? So these faults may occur only when several subsystem work simultaneously. Unlike diagnostic programs simulate the above two situation, the fault may not be caught by the diagnostic problem, right? Most of the cases it will not be caught by the diagnostic problem. So methods of operation. So there are some methods of operation to perform this troubleshooting. Black box, white box, or background diagnostic. These are some terms. I don't know whether you have learned some software testing there. Here, this operations are very familiar, like black box testing, white box. What is this black box testing? Which is testing of mechanism without knowing how it works and merely focusing on the accuracy of output data based on the known input. Black box means the original mechanism is hidden from the outside world. We don't know how it works, but we'll be having an assumption this might occur to our system, and then we'll be correcting the troubleshooting problem that may lead to solving that particular error. Right? We'll make an assumption. We'll think that okay, this error is leading to this problem. Then we'll say that okay, if I correct this error may go. So actually, that error is not dependent on that one, but some temporary cases that one error will solve the next error. So that is a good white box, which uses a knowledge of mechanism inner function. We'll know that directly what happened to the troubleshooting error. We'll take that problem, we'll apply the solution directly. So that is called white box testing, white box operations. Right? Background diagnostic, that performs testing of system component during idle time of a system, which means that we'll be taking some testing of a system component during some idle time. So there will be an option called, right, do later or ask me later or remind me later. So we'll be skipping that options. We'll not do it now and then. We'll be based on our time, free time, or because if I take up that diagnostic problem, either I have to reset my system, that I will not, because I will be doing very important work. Suddenly a software will pop up a window saying that restart the system, so that you will not so that this application will work fine. So but look like that I cannot able to restart the system now, because I am doing very important work, typing something in MS Word or taking class. What should I do now? I have to skip that, right? So I'll be taking some timer message telling that ask me later or remind me later, or cancel the pop-up message. That is background diagnostic. So troubleshooting tools. So these are some of the tools available, like Nodal. There are two types of tools generally in respective with the troubleshooting. One is called the nodal tester. Second one is called system tester. What are the tools that will be associated with the nodal tester? Means logic probe, logic pulsar, current tracer, oscilloscope. I'm not familiar with all these tools, but I hope that there will be a lab technician. They will be able to know that people are doing some they learned, technicians are nothing but they have learned the basics about these how to correct the problems. So they will much quite know about these all kind of troubleshooting this. But I'll tell you what is this. These are some of the tools. There will be tools available. With the tools we can able to like some devices we can able to solve the inner working or general what type of error we can able to correct that by identifying that. So what is this logic probe says is, it's one of the equipment. It's like equipment, like it will be able to diagnose it. It will be look like an oscilloscope. So I hope you know, you might have the oscilloscopes, everyone. That it's a familiar term for you. So it will be used to find out the logic state. Actually, logic probe, it will be able to find out the circuit, whether the circuits are correct. A hardware circuit, any it's related to hardware. So logic probe will identify that any malfunctions in the hardware will be rectifying the problems in the circuit boards. Logic pulsar. So logic pulsar is also a handheld tool. It is used to steam like frequency. It will be used to test the frequency, whether the prop in hardware, all the circuit boards, everything will be running. It's similar to the logic probe. One other kind of hardware testing tool supporting with the circuitry board. And the current tracer, it's also detect the current flow. So whether the current flow, working of the system, power supply, everything is good, that will be current tracer. That is one of the tool equipment. We can use that equipment to test the flow of the current system. And the oscilloscopes help to resolve most of all the PC problem. It is like an electronic test instrument that helps to observe the varying signal voltage, two-dimensional signals, whether uh, measuring the AC DC current, which means that whether the current flow it is in proper. Sometimes we may experience that the signal is not in proper condition. The signal up and down, which means power incoming. Our battery will work, but we will not get the power supply in the systems, right? So your system will not take the input power supply, the battery will work correct, some problem might there. So we can able to test your battery problems where it is going wrong. So this is very useful tools. I am speaking about this the general tools, but we as a normal humans we will not buy all these tools to test our systems. If you go to a lab technician or technical or service center, they will have all these kinds of tool, because that will help them to analyze the software problems very easily or hardware problems very easily. What about the system testers? System testers are sophisticated tech equipments. There are a lot of system testers are there. There are like it is quickly isolate the faulty present in the system, like emulators, functional tester, signature analyzer, logic analyzer, or sound tester, video tester, volume analyzer. A lot of testers will help to test your system whether it is working in proper condition, or all the default system equipments options are set in a basic level, right? So that is about the troubleshooting tools. Now we'll discuss some of the simple problems, right? We have seen so far about the types of basic functions in troubleshooting, some nature, what are the troubleshooting types available, what are the tools available, what is troubleshooting, some theory we have seen. Now we'll look into some of the simple problem which that normal simple problems a system might encounter. I hope you have, if you have learned it's okay, we can recall it. The simple problems which we will encounter in our daily life is power button will not start computer. So when I used to start my power button, my system will not start. So some people will encounter that it is taking too long to start your system. Some people encounter that it is starting, it is going off. So power button will not start your computer to open. So what we can do, some solution for this is, if your computer does not start, what should we do? Begin by checking the power cord to confirm that is plugged securely, that is your power cable has been plugged to a system correctly or not. You have to check that. And also if it is plugged into an outlet, make sure it is working correctly. So you have switched, some people will do it. When you will be plugging your power cord in a switchboard and you will not switch on the power supply, people will make a mistake, right? So you have to check that because why the power button will not start. One issue is a general issue, the system will not have a power sufficient amount of power to start. So you may think that you have switched on the power supply, but you have plugged your cord, that is power cable, to your switchboard. You might have not switched on the switch. So you'll be thinking that the system is not on. Actually the system has no power to switch on. So that is quite very very basic mistake a lot of people will do, even myself, everyone will do that, right? Forgetting to switch on the power. So you have to make sure that the power outlet it's correct, and it's also the switchboard is working, the power cable from the switchboard is coming to your system, that you have to make sure. If the computer is plugged into a that is switchboard, make sure that is turned on. That's why I told you. If you're using a laptop, the battery may not be charged, so you have to check that the laptop has any other problems, like everything is perfect. Sometimes your power card, everything will work fine, the battery may gone. So you have to replace your battery. So that you have to consult your technicians. You will be getting, actually nowadays laptop, you will be getting a warning message saying that your power cable is failure. You'll be getting a pop-up message. Even recently, 1 week back, I have replaced my power battery. I hope I remember that. I used to get a warning message saying that your adapter is your PC adapter is I'll be getting your PC adapter is failed. Try to rechange your battery, which means that my power supply battery is gone. The power outlet is gone. Try to replace the battery. Such message I'll be getting. So if you keep on using that gone that is malfunction powered battery, that will make your system failure. It will also, you'll be getting some lines. You can see that actually my system has a line. Let me show you. I don't know whether you can able to see or not. You can see that, see some lines are there. Your graphic display also goes wrong if you keep on working with the damaged power outlet. It will make your system, actually this line I got, I remember that it was first I used to get that my power adapter has been gone. Try to replace your battery, but we'll have to, it'll take us some time, right? We have to look into budget. You have to buy some new power battery for your system. You have to check that which power battery you have to, if your system is Dell or Acer or Lenovo, you have to look into that service center. You have to buy that one which is suitable for your computer. So it will take some 1 week time. If you started using that, it will make a problem to your graphics. So this is the graphic screen, right? See here, I'm getting one single screen, one single line. So it will damage your system also. So you have to very careful while you're using such kind of systems. So such kind of malfunction devices. So that is one. The application is running slowly. So if you feel that your application is running slowly, close and reopen the application, update the application, and also you've checked that for that software you are getting any updates. Sometimes your application will be getting updates. So you can see that in Chrome. So this is my Chrome. So there will be an option. If I go to my Chrome, I'll be getting settings, I think more tools, be settings, one option will be there. You can able to see that whether your Chrome is up to date. Okay, let me check that. So we can able to check that option. So that will tell you that. Okay. So not remember, I'll show you that option about Google Chrome. See, so I'll be getting here. There you can see. Go to see Chrome. Help about Google Chrome. You'll be getting here that you see my Chrome, Google Chrome is up to date version. Some version is there. Sometimes you'll be getting here upper arrow symbol, red color symbol saying that you have to which means update your Chrome. In that case, you have to update your Chrome. Otherwise, some applications will not support that Chrome to open your applications. You have to check frequently, because we'll be getting I'll be getting sometimes here update Chrome. So you have to check that options also. That will prevent that applications problem, some applications problems. So when an application is frozen, so sometimes an application may become stuck or frozen. So you won't be able to close the window or click any button within the application. So you'll be getting that temporarily that not working, temporarily not opening. So you'll be getting some option, right? Some frozen. So if it is happening, force quit the application. So you can do one thing, force, then we can, when I started closing it continuously, I'll be getting an force quit. So you can click that force quit, or on a PC, you can press Control Alt Delete. You'll be getting a task manager. I hope you know that. There will be an option called, let me show you that. Control Alt, you'll be getting an option called Control Alt Delete. So this Control Alt Delete, you will be so you'll be getting an option called Task Manager. I hope you know that. So from the Task Manager, or you can hold Command option plus escape, that also you can do. So that will lead to a task manager. You can select that option, what is that application for Microsoft Word or PPT or PDF will be causing a, it will not close, right? You can able to close by clicking that application, and you can stop that. I can able to show you that. I hope you know that. Control Alt, actually Control Alt Delete. So okay, task manager, right? So now we can see that. I'll be open, just a minute, I'll be getting the task manager. See, this is my task manager, right? More details. If I want to know more details, see, this is how it look like the task managers. For example, if my Google Chrome is not closing, I click the application here, that is process which is running here, it is shown here, shown here, and then I can close the end task. So whatever the application which is not closing for you, you can click that and you can do click the end task, that will make your application to close. So then we can finally, after doing that, if it's not at all closing, try closing or restart your computer. So do go to Windows, and then you can click the restart, that will clear your problem. But I think task manager one of the easy solution to close your current application. So the next thing here is, so all programs the computer runs slowly. Sometimes you may encounter that the programs here are running slowly. So that is means of there you can run a virus. There will be a might be a virus problem, or your hard disk RAM is full. You have to clear some temporary files in your systems. So I hope you have learned how to clear your temporary files in the previous sessions from previous speakers. Percentage temp percentage, you have to type in command prompt, that will lead. So let me do that. So there will be here, right? So go to run, and we'll be getting cmd. So here you type percentage temp percentage. So this is the command, one of the temporary files will be present. So this will have a lot of temporary files. See, I'm having 14,188. You have to clear these files very often. See, I'm clearing now. Even I didn't clear the past week, so it will take a lot of time. Just I press shift delete. See, it started clearing. So this all the temporary cache files will be stored here. So we can click shift delete. I have pressed shift delete. If you are clicking the delete, you know that it will be stored in the recycle bin. Again, you have to clear the recycle bin. So if you want to clear such type of, you want to know that thoroughly, you have to delete the file, do shift delete. That will delete your all your current files. So that is one of the solution for doing it. Then we have the computer is frozen. We have seen, right? Sometimes instead of the application, the computer itself frozen. So what you have to do, the computer itself frozen, so you can use the task manager. So that is for that also you can use the task manager. Whatever the problem if you are facing, if your computer application is frozen, you can use a task manager. Task manager can by checking the task manager, you can able to find out which application is causing the system to frozen, then we can delete it. And next thing is mouse or keyboard has stopped working. So mouse or keyboard has stopped working, you have to check that whether the keyboard wire, I am talking in terms of PC. If you're having a laptop, that is different issue. If you are having a PC, check that your keyboard or mouse wires are connected with the PCs, and you can make sure your wireless mouse or keyboard, make sure it is turned on. If you're using Wi-Fi mouse, make sure you have turned on that USB is working properly to support your wireless mouse or keyboard, so that you can able to do that. The sound isn't working and the screen is blank. For these, check the volume level. There will be a testing, mic testing, and the solution that audio video testing option will be available default. You can go to the audio player control. Many audio and video player will have their own separate audio controlling options. Make sure that the sound is turned on and the volume is turned up in the player. And check the cable, make sure external speakers are plugged in and turned on and connected to the audio or the video USB port. If your computer has some audio, separate audio ports available, you have connected with the speaker, check that every speakers are, have you connected with that green color pin to the green color, which means that if you have speakers, we have to, we'll be having 3 port to connect. I hope if you have your speakers in com, I hope you know that yellow color, green color, some pink color it seems. So you'll be having the pins to connect with the exactly same port. Microphone port has to be connected to the one port. The audio port has been connected to the audio port. Then you'll be having some speaker pin should be connected to the exact port. So you should be make sure that everything should be connected correctly. So the screen is blank. So the computer may in sleep mode. Check that whether the computer may be in sleep mode, or click the mouse or press on any keyword so that the computer black color lines will go off. That is very basic thing. Sometimes if you put in the sleep mode, the computer will turn your system into black color. So make sure that computer is plugged in and turned on. If you're using a desktop, make sure that monitor cable is properly connected to the computer and the connections are proper, right? So this is some of the basic simple problems, and I've told you the problems listed out in the slide. I told you how we can solve these problems. And if you don't know the solution completely, we are unaware of the solution, please search the web. There is a, unless if you're taking your system to your service center, paying some money with the for all the basic facilities, there is a lot of search engines available. They will provide you a solution, basic, instant basic solution. Try with the basic troubleshooting solution. Then if it is not at all possible, that troubleshooting can be solved by yourself, you can consult the technician. So before that, that's why this is workshop. I hope faculties have done a very good job for students, and that is very great job troubleshooting, because daily necessary, we are all using a system daily life, right? So I hope it's needed to know the basic system fault which is happened to your system, and if you're able to solve the solutions errors which you are encountering in daily life, it is very good, right? So I'll stop up to this session, up to this, and we'll have afternoon session, 1 hour session. There I'll be taking about more troubleshooting problems, deeper troubleshooting problems, for we can able to find out the solution. I will have a discussion at that time, right? So I hope it is clear. If you have any doubts, you can have a discussion, or you can come to the chat, or you can text your questions. Okay. So thank you, Rajalakshmi ma'am. I hope this session is useful for the students, and we'll be seeing in the afternoon session today.